How doing? Bye.
International students applying to a CRNA program. I'm getting a lot of questions about this, and I definitely want to hit on some quick tips on how to help you if you are international students thinking about coming to the States, going to a CRNA program, of course, and maybe actively working as a CRNA. So definitely check this video out, so definitely keep watching. My name is Christine and welcome to a new video. If it's your first time here and you want to become a CRNA or grow your CRNA career, start now by subscribing and hitting the bell so you don't miss anything. So yes, maybe you're international students, you're thinking to yourself, I want to become a CRNA. Maybe you're in Kenya, maybe you're in Canada, maybe you're in, Europe, maybe you're in Australia, and you're thinking, man, I would love to become a CRNA, and what can Thrive CRNA give me? What kind of tips that she can give me to become one? So, first of all, so say, for example, you are, in a nursing program in your specific country, make sure your program is accredited, okay? That's very important, especially when thinking about, if you do a plan to come to the States and to, become a CRNA. It's an easier transition. Just make sure your program is accredited. Say, for example, your program is, a 2-year degree. Prefer you to try to get into a program that is a 4-year degree accredited, okay? So saying you can do that in your country. But of course, if you are an international student and you have not yet, got into nursing school, if you can, there's always a way of, coming to the States, applying to a program, and becoming a registered nurse, in the States. But I know now it's can be kind of difficult, especially what's going on in our environment. So I would just say make sure you get, a 4-year degree accredited and become a registered nurse, okay? Now, think about becoming certified or, becoming registered to become, to work actively as a registered nurse. So if you are currently a registered nurse working in the ICU, for example, or another area, in nursing in your specific country, what I do recommend you doing if you do want to, go about becoming a CRNA, I would recommend trying your best to take the NCLEX examination. So that's, in the States, we have an examination to become a registered nurse. If there's a way that you can take that examination and to become registered in the States, for example, maybe you need to contact a recruiter who recruits nurses internationally to come into, the States, for example. I would recommend you looking into something like that. That'll make it much easier for you. And also your recruiter will help you get a job, for example, to work in the States. So, and also they can actually help you with your taking the examination, getting a job. These are some options that I would definitely recommend you doing. So definitely look into that. Because even though you are a registered nurse in another country, you have to get certified to work here in the States. Take the examination here. And then what I really recommend you doing is trying to work at least a minimum of a year in the ICU in the States. I think it'll help you with your resume, as will help make it a much easier transition when you are applying to a program. To give you an example, in my program, one of my coworker, I worked with him in the ICU at NYU Langone Medical Center, and he was from Eritrea, okay, and that's an African country. And he, went to a lot of schooling in Eritrea, his I think it's more of his undergraduate, and I think he took the accelerated program to become a registered nurse in the States. And he did that through one of the colleges. So he did an accelerated program to go about to becoming a registered nurse. And then he went ahead and got certified, took the NCLEX examination, and then worked in the ICU to become to get his experience, of course, to help his resume to become a CRNA and then apply to a CRNA program. I remember one thing he had some difficulties with was getting his records from his current country. For some reason, that was very difficult for him because when he applied, the issue he had great, everything was right with him. Like everything was perfect. Like he was just like this perfect student, like amazing. The only issue he had, his hiccup, was getting his records from his current country to be able to be brought over to the States. So of course the program can accept them. So a little bit of delay in that point of view with him. So of course when you're thinking about, you know, working in the States, you know, or getting ICU experience, or of course applying for a program, really try your best to really talk with your current school and make sure, you know, talk to them about, like, you know, how is it transition for me to get my records to be taken to the States, for example, to a specific school, institution, to make things easy. Because that was one of the things that definitely made his, you know, more stressful for him in regards to getting his records. And that's one thing I'd recommend if you are an international student, is to look into that. So yeah, and I have another person I know who's currently a CRNA, and so for example, for her, she was, you know, from a Caribbean island, and she, you know, went to school and got her registered nurse in the States, got certified and all that good stuff. Ended up deciding she wanted to go to another country, for example, like I think London, for example, and so she worked in London, got her ICU experience, did really well with that. And then she's like, oh, I want to go back to the States, whatever. And so then she came back, she applied to a CRNA program, you know, and it was a kind of a little bit of like, depending on the program, right? Some programs are much easier transition when you are an international student. There's other programs, it can be a little bit more rockier. Not that that's like an end all for you. I don't believe that. But it may be a little bit more difficult because all of the schoolings, you know, all your records, they need all of that. And so just make sure that when you are, you know, applying to a CRNA program, make sure you have all your records kind of organized and ready. So when you are applying, it's a much easier transition. Because you don't want to apply to a program, for example, and not have your records, not know how to get, you know, certain documents, for example, because it can be tricky. Because the States versus another country can be a little bit difficult. I don't think, you know, it's an end all. No. If you want it bad enough, just organize yourself, make a plan on what you can do to make things better. And if, for example, worst case, you don't get accepted into a program because of that, try again. Apply to another school. And now that you went through that experience, you kind of know what to do and what steps you need to do to do better, you know, in regards to the application. Now, a resource I recommend you looking into if you're an international student, if you're a registered nurse internationally, is definitely contact the accreditation to become a registered nurse. You know, definitely contact them, call the customer service hotline, you know, because for example, the NCLEX exam, and everyone in the United States who's a registered nurse has to take that examination. So I'll definitely look into that website, as well as contacting and asking a lot of those questions, because a lot of there's always changes year to year in regards to, you know, what documents, certifications, there's always changes. So I don't want to give you the wrong information. I'm just giving you some advice that what I've seen, of course, with friends who have, of course, applied to a CRNA program and were internationally. So those are some recommendations I would say. And say, for example, you're not currently in the States yet, and you are a registered nurse, and maybe you are in the ICU. Definitely make sure you take advantage of your ICU experience and make sure you're involved on your unit. Like I've always said in many videos, maybe try to do some research in your country, you know, in regards to maybe nursing. Also try to do extracurricular activities. You know, try to get involved. Make sure you're getting really sick patients. You know, those things add to your resume and strengthens it, so it makes you look, you know, a stronger applicant, makes you more, you know, an applicant that you're like, ooh, we like this person, you know, we really want them to come to our program, because you're going to add so much to a program being from another country, especially with ICU nursing in another country, and then saying you work here. It's a lot that you can give and provide, because there's differences in states, differences in different countries, and I think it's great that you're considering becoming a CRNA. And I hope this kind of helped answer some of your questions. Definitely put some comments below if you have any further questions, because I know there may be some CRNAs or students who are currently registered nurses, who are maybe ICU nurses now, who have experience with being working internationally or living internationally, coming to the States, and they can definitely kind of have like a little conversation. So definitely put your comments down below and questions down below. So if you want to learn more about CRNAs, how to grow your CRNA career, definitely click this video over here. It's a day in the life how to become a CRNA, and this video over here, CRNA salary. All right, thank you so much for watching. Have a great day.